Hey, what's up? I'm here in front of what used to be the Project Hollywood mansion from the book The Game, and from my sort of initiation into the transition between childhood and man. It's kind of interesting looking at it. It's a little bit like looking at the house you grew up in being torn down before your eyes. And I didn't know this was actually going to be like this when I got here. I was expecting to come here and show you this as sort of the culmination of my journey. But I guess it's another quick lesson, which is that every end is a new beginning, and every beginning is going to have an ending at some point. Sort of transition of life and all of that. But to the point of this video, there are basically 3 stages of buy-in. First stage is that I spoke about, not being bought in at all, being like almost afraid to take a chance, to take a risk. Next one is you've experienced enough pain that you can have that buy-in. The pain you associate with not taking action is less than the pain you feared from taking action, and you start to actually take action. The problem with being motivated by pain, though, is it only goes so far. It only will motivate you until the pain subsides. So if you're terrible and you get to a place of mediocre, or you have some success along the way, or if you just have more pain from the process and it once again overwhelms the initial pain that got you started, all of a sudden you can be demotivated again. You can lose your buy-in. So the real buy-in for mastery or for greatness has to on some level come from in, and this is what began to happen with me in my journey in game. At first I would go into sets and I would go in scared. I would go in just trying to go in because I knew I had to do it, because I knew that if I didn't do it I was letting myself down. But then I'd go into the set and I'd try and leave as soon as possible. I'd try and get a quick phone number and run away and consider that phone number like a shallow victory. But over time and over learning the game and getting some success, I actually started to meet some really cool girls. I started to have some amazing experiences, and I started to become actually fascinated with the game itself. Also, what I noticed was that I was improving in other areas of my life. I was becoming more assertive in general. I was figuring out how to have mastery in other areas. Things like in soccer, I'd always been the talented guy that was never didn't really come to play on game day, wasn't enough of sort of like a closer, and I realized the mentality of being a closer in game is the same as showing up and performing in a sport. And so I started to see all these ramifications of game, and I started to find it truly beautiful, and it became my passion in life. It became something I was really doing, and it became sort of almost a spiritual journey for me, that I wanted to see what came out on the other side. And when that transition happened, when that flip occurred in my mind, I started to really enjoy the game, not just for the results it could bring, but for the game itself. That's when my game went to a new level, and that's when I was able to become truly excellent. All right, so that's a little bit about buy-in, and buy-in is so important. I see over and over again with students on boot camp. You can see the talented student who has everything going for him, and then the student who you look at him, you're like, oh my God, this guy's gonna be a project. But a lot of times, the talented guy isn't bought in enough because he hasn't got across that pain threshold, or he hasn't immersed himself in trying super hard at the game. And so he doesn't do everything I say on boot camp. He doesn't push himself hard, and he doesn't get that same learning curve, doesn't get that same growth. Whereas the guy who's like, this is my last resort, I bought in, I'm doing this, and I will do anything you say, I will fucking chop my hand off for you, that guy will get massive results. Okay? I cannot emphasize it too much how important this concept of buy-in is. It literally is more important than talent. All right? So I hope I've impressed upon you a little bit. I hope that you enjoyed my stories, and I hope that you're at least a fraction more bought in than you were at the beginning of this video. Until next time.